Hey guys, been working on this here man shed, also known as the groom's room. Used to be a old harness shed, I guess. I don't know, as they told me. Anyway, I think I got it pretty well spackled out. Got our ceiling in. I did the end walls. Why is it not focusing? There we go. Got the ceiling in and did the end walls in the same shiplap. Hope you guys like that. I started in the middle and worked my way both ways out, trying to maintain some semblance of symmetry. Did both ends. The building's a little bit taller on one side than the other, so there's some slight differences that it doesn't really matter. It'll blend and it'll all look good. It's all going to get painted one color, so the only difference in the ceiling and the wall is going to be texture-wise. But anyway, I'm moving my way into the bathroom, and I think I'm down to the point where I just got to get going on this shower. If you recall, I bought this shower at a sale for $1, a single solitary buck. And it was brand new. It didn't have any holes drilled in it. I put the holes in for that. You might have saw that in another video. Now, this is a little clunky. I don't like the way this is turning out, because what's going to happen is when I put my trim on here, I'm going to make the board wide enough, which means I got to make it all the way around the doorway wide enough. And I'm just using 1x6 material. It's not going to be anything fancy. Here's a chunk of 1x8 just to show you what I don't like about it. So that goes up on there like that, and then this comes over, it's going to bang into here, and I don't like that edge. So I may chamfer that. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I probably will, actually. But what I really got to do is get working on this. Now, this shower was worth every penny of that $1 I paid for it. Now, I knew this hole was here. That's why I got it for $1. But it's also got hairline cracks all over the place, like these here, which I'm sure would chip out eventually. I got all this. This is where the gel coat is just kind of like flaking right off the fiberglass. So that can't be good. And I got this here, and you can see it. Oh, I could probably peel that off. It's just loose. See how it's flexing? No good. So I got to grind all that stuff out. Anything loose has got to go. It's just got to go. Or I won't be able to, if you just cover it, you're covering loose stuff, and that doesn't work. So that's got to get ground out a little bit there. The whole thing's got to get sanded down, and I'm going to shoot it with automotive paint. Probably a single stage polyurethane. See that right there? That's not very great either. I'll have to grind that out and clean it up. I got cracks here. Not a big deal. I can fix that pretty easy, I think. Anyway, I got to get working on it. Actually, the finish wasn't that great to start with. I can see, it's really not a great finish. But the first thing I got to do is grind out all the bad spots. Second thing will be sand the whole thing down. Third thing will be to go ahead and fill and putty. And I'm going to get started on that now, I guess. Okay, guys, I got the usual assortment of weaponry in my arsenal. Grinder. It's got one of the cone wire wheels on it. This thing really will dig up some stuff. Gotta be careful I don't get overzealous with it, because it really can do damage as well as good. Good or bad. Fire you can cook, or fire you can burn down a neighbor's house. Gotta be careful with this tool. Okay, what else do I got? I've got my random DA sander, which I'll be putting some 220 grit on this. I don't know what this is. It's coming off. I think this is an 80 grit piece. But it's going to be getting some 220 grit on this random orbital sander. Dual action. Some of the 220 adhesive back sandpapers I'll be using with the DA. I don't have to go more than 220. I'm not going to go any finer than that. That'll be enough. I got some hand sandpaper. I grabbed some 180 grit. It's a little more aggressive than 220, but when I'm hand sanding, I'll just be going straight back and forth, so you don't get the swirly marks. You won't notice it. I've got a rotary grinder. Plug-in kind, so this thing really whizzes along. I don't even know what I think it's 5,800 RPMs. Anyway, so I got this, and I've got attachments for this so that I can use these floppy grinders. These things really work good. I've got this little thing I'm going to put on the drill. It's a wire brush for the drill that's going to go into the really tight little corners and stuff, so I can scuff it up good, and the putty or whatever I smear on there is going to bite. And I've got this wheel. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. It's basically a paint stripping wheel. It's one of those mesh kind of abrasive. What's it saying there? Rapids. It's a Norton Rapid Strip. 4.5 inch wheel. This might come in handy too. Although it's already been used, you can see where it's got some chunks of melted paint gobbed in it. So I don't know if I'll use this or not, but we'll see. Better to have more weapons than not enough. Probably won't use this Sawzall. Another one of these, another wire wheel, a little finer than the other one. And I've got some cut-off wheels and stuff. I don't know as I'll use these, but I haven't. But this is the backing plate, and this is the nut that goes on those grinders that allows me to use those floppy discs, and it really works good. One more item for sure, and maybe the most important item, welding glove. I'm running that grinding wheel. I don't want to do this again. Yeah, that took like a month to heal. So anyway, let me show you a couple other things I got. Then we got some material. I got my mixing board, of course. It makes it easier to mix putty on. A couple mix sticks around here somewhere. If not, I'll make them because I've got all kinds of sticks laying around. But I got Duraglass. This is the fiberglass reinforced filler. So I might be using that to any of the really deep spots. I got Featherite for where it is just a place that I want to kind of smooth over. And I got fiberglass resin so I can thin the Featherite or the Duraglass down a little bit. When I put it in, say, a spot like this, it kind of flows into it a little bit. I want to be able to get some flow. Even though I do have a squeegee, I can press it in pretty good. So anyway, I guess I'll get started with the grinding. I don't know if I like what this is doing. It's really not doing much. I might try the flappy grinder. I just tore that out pretty good. Oh yeah, I've eaten it up pretty good. Where it's all chipped out. Blow a hole right out. Kind of wish I'd done this before I had it buried in the wall. But that Dynaglass will fix it. See, as soon as I start hitting it, little pieces start chipping out. So it's not a good substrate. It's just going to keep peeling out. I have to get it back, peel it back all the way to where it's good. This whole area here is all chippy. Wow. This I'll get with the grinder. This I'll get with the grinder. Alright, try this guy. Woo, piling up way too much dust. I gotta get a mask.
That's better. Okay, now I'll be able to breathe. Let's see, we got all this stuff we gotta grind all off. Some dust. Whoa!
Wow, that kicked up some dust. Even with the mask on, I covered my glasses, everything. The whole room's covered with dust. So I'm gonna let this place air out, and then we'll go check things out. Woo, I got the fans blowing, and I think it aired most of it out. Ooh, all right, so if I go in here, I think I got it ground out pretty good. That is a big hole. Oh man, I really kind of wish I could get behind there now, but I can't. So I'm gonna have to use that Dynaglass. I might even get Gorilla Hair for it, but I'll plug that up with that stuff. It'll work. These two, I'll get those holes patched. And then most of it is gonna get, well, this will get Duraglass too, or Dynaglass. I chewed that right out. I think I'm gonna put a pretty heavy coat on, you know, so it really kind of covers it. I'll go right up that. I might even grind these off a little more so I'll probably fill it quite a bit just to strengthen it up. Okay, when last we left our hero, he spread some of this Duraglass on that shower unit. And now I've been spending the money. That's the compressor in the background running. I've been spending the morning getting ready to do some paint on this thing. Now, it didn't come out too bad. I got to do it again. I mean, I probably got to...
And equity is not
Jordan Peterson. So what I got to do is sand this off a little bit more. I just dirtied it up. Get these sanded off. Nice thick layer of putty. I'm going to go pretty heavy. And I think I'm going to sand the thing down with 220 and spray paint on it. So what I've done is I've set up a little mixing area over here where I can have a table. I can mix my paint. I put down cardboard because obviously if I have a spill, I don't want it on this floor. And doubly, if I have a spill, this end of the room, I hate to have to admit this, but will be under the bed. If I do have a spill and I can't get it mopped up, I don't think I will. I'm not going to use a lot of paint. Now this paint is really old. I mean, we're talking probably 8 years. We're going to see if that works or if I'm going to regret it. Biting my nails a little on this one, but I like seeing what we can get away with. Because, you know, it's only got a 6-month shelf life. And I got a little bit of this stuff. This ought to work for me. I got it shook up with a paint shaker. I shook everything up when I was up at the barn. I got the compressor. I got my paint guns. I got my putty mix and stuff. So I guess it's time to get to work on this thing. I got it warmed up in here. It's like June 8th and it's like 50 degrees out, which is kind of nutty. So to get this painted, I'm going to have to get a little heat in here. But I also got to blow it off, which means I got to suck some of the heat out too. I got to put some fans in the window and probably better move those plants she's already got those plants there. So I got to move those, put fans in the window, and you know, take it from there, I guess. That's what I got to do. Oh, also got to tape off the floor because I don't want that getting painted. But I got quite a mess in here. But I'm going to do my putty work and then clean up. Okay, so I had some more spots. I mean, they're cropping up. I got this guy here I didn't know about, so I ground that out, sanded that all down. I really should be sanding it with 80 grit, but I'm using 220. I hope that doesn't cause a problem. If it does, I'll have to redo it, which I don't want to, but I'm stuck with it. Here's another spot. So I'm gonna mix up some more of the Duraglass stuff, and I'm gonna do this all in Duraglass. You can see where it cracked through. It's like, I don't know if that's a manufacturing defect that's already in there. Those aren't cracks. It's like a different color and everything. Maybe it just didn't get catalyzed or something in those areas. They're like spiderweb cracks. And then this is so porous, so I gotta make sure I pack it in there good. And then I'll probably hit it, unless I get it smooth with the Duraglass, which I might be able to. That's pretty smooth. I mean, I see grinder marks, but I can sand them out. So I'm gonna hit all these spots again. Even this spot needs a little tune-up. So I'm gonna go mix up some more putty. So mixing this putty, basically it tells you on the can, if you get a golf ball size wad of putty, you want 1.5 inches of hardener. So this looks to me like just about 2 golf balls. So I'm going to drop 3 inches of hardener on there. I'm just doing it by eye. And I'm just going to use my squeegee to mix it. So I'm going to take this off. That way I can reuse this mix stick to dig out more when I have to. But if you get hardener on your mix stick, you don't want to put it back in the can because you'll have a problem. Wow, that was sing-song. Okay, so we're looking at like 3 inches. 1, that's 2. Yeah, here more. Okay, that's definitely 3. Now I was originally going to put some fiberglass resin in it, but I think I want to keep this batch a little stiffer because I got some stuff to fill. But I'll probably use fiberglass resin if I want to get it smoothed out more with the regular just body filler without the fiberglass strand in it. Because that's all that's in this is some fiberglass strand, and it makes it reinforces it, makes it really strong. So I'm pretty confident it's going to stay in there pretty good. This is a Sheen mix palette, and it sticks to this so much. it's crazy how much this stuff sticks. Every once in a while I clean the pallet off, but what I gotta do is let it get real thick on there. I try to keep it smooth so I can always keep working it. But then it gets thick on there, and then I can start chipping and busting it off. Because I'm too cheap to buy another pallet. But, you know, hey, money doesn't grow on trees, unless you're in the maple syrup business, and then it does. But I'm not in the maple syrup business, so. Alright, I think I got me a decent mix here. Seems pretty mixed up throughout. Let's go spread it on. Yeah, that's going on there pretty smooth. I keep that cleaned up. One thing that really accelerates this stuff hardening to the point where you can't work it is sunlight. And hopefully these lights in here aren't doing it. Let me get this spot up here. That looks pretty good. I got this spot over here. Thing is, you get strings and strands hanging on the squeegee, and then it tends to make a mess. And I don't want to get in a situation where I got to sand like crazy in a corner like this, because it's hard to do. I think my putty's starting to set up. I might lose a little of it, but that's all right. We'll survive it. I'm gonna have this stuff on my fingers, and it's a pain in the neck to get off. But it is what it is. Okay, I think I'm just about there. Trying to get off any of these ridges so I don't have to sand them, because it's easier to smear them when they're. It's easier to smear these ridges off while it's still gooey than when trying sanding it off once it's hard. It's a pain. I'm looking pretty good. Now I'm going to let this stuff set up, and then I'm going to go right over it with some actual putty. And putty on my hands. Alright guys, we're going to let it set up. Come back and finish it up. Guys, I'm on like coat, I don't know, 5 or 6 of putty. And I'm getting things smoothed out fairly decent. I'm really trying to get it smooth because that's going to be a nightmare to sand. So I got that pretty good. And I've got this pretty smoothed out. Did a bunch of it with my fingers. So that's what we got going on there. And it's going to take a day or two for this all to peel off. But looks like we'll get her done.
Okay. You can hear that.
Okay, time to sand some gel coat. Well, if it is gel coat, to be honest, I don't know what the hell it is, but it's fiberglass. I'm going to sand it. We're going to spray paint on it. So I've done a whole bunch of putty work. I got all the putty worked up as kind of as good as I can do it. It's gonna have to be all sanded. Right now it's still a little gummy, but that doesn't mean I can't sand the rest of the shower. So that's what I'm gonna jump on right now. Oh man, everything looks foggy. That's better. Boy, I really had this place dusted up. Still dusty. Yeah, lots of dust. Okay, so I got everything sanded down with 80 grit, all the putty, and I think I'm close enough. I'm not gonna like try to make this like car show quality. I'm just gonna get this sanded up. Now I'm gonna sand down the whole thing with 220 grit, and then we're gonna see about spraying some paint on it. Oh, I'm losing my focus. Well guys, it's been a dusty afternoon. I've been wearing my mask. I don't want to breathe this stuff in, but man, I'm just covered in it. Sanding off that shower, really dusty stuff. Well, I mixed up the paint, and I'm embarrassed to say how old this paint is. I'm not even sure. It's years old. This stuff way over the shelf life. So it's ancient, but you know what? Mixed up pretty decent, looks good. Looks like paint. I'm gonna spray it on. If it sticks and stays on there, we're good, right? Yeah, I think so. The color looks a little grayer than I remember, but you know, I don't have a photographic spectrogram memory, so who knows, that could probably not be a big problem. Anyway, I'm gonna go to painting. Here we go, small room. Aha! Well, I got a first coat on it, and that ancient paint looks fantastic. I really shouldn't be in here with a mask on. My body work's not the best. I see nicks and crap, but you know what? It's gonna look great. It's gonna be good enough. So you can do it. But we'll see what the longevity is, but I'm sure it's gonna last. This paint ain't gonna come off. It's gonna stay right on there and look great. Well, anyway, guys, I gotta finish it up. It's over supper time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you guys on the next one.